Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight podcast, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who share their insights and expertise so we can all grow together. I am your host, Heidi Schalk, and the co-founder of the Spotlight to Scale Accelerator, where we help businesses drive revenue by being seen as the authority and go-to expert in their industry versus just another product and service. And today we're talking money, and I love this conversation. We're talking financial stability, financial success. So I'm excited to have my guest here with me today. Welcome to the show, Barbara Provost with Purse Strings. It's so exciting to have you here, Dr. Barb.
Thank you for having me, Heidi. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. And we're all, for those of you, this is going to be coming out later, but this is St. Patty's Day for us as we're
Yeah.
recording. So we're both in our green. And we've been having a little St. Patrick's Day, luck of the Irish talk behind the scenes. So, Dr. Barb, can you kick us off with sharing a little bit about yourself, who you are, your business, and your role within it?
Sure. I'm Dr. Barbara Provost. I hold a doctorate in adult and higher learning. And my focus is always on helping adults be more confident and competent in the work that they do. That was my consulting practice and my focus there. And now it's more about women feeling more confident and competent in stepping into their financial power.
I love that. So, can you share what inspired you to start Purse Strings and what is its mission in helping women take control of their finances?
Sure. Well, the work that I did was consulting inside financial institutions for
Mm.
many, many years in many different financial institutions. I could see where they were really overlooking the female market. And I saw it at every touch point along the way. I'd bring it to leadership. There was not a lot of listening for it. And then
Mm.
I felt it in my own life when I went through a divorce, and I could hear other women who I was kind of navigating that with, and they would ask me financial questions about how do I know if I can afford a divorce? How much money should I be living on? Should I keep the house? So it was interesting to me to hear other women, bright, smart, educated women, asking some foundational financial questions. And then just in my everyday life, being a student of the female market, looking around and seeing, there are women of retirement age who are still working a lot of the jobs in the stores that I've been going into. And why is that? Do they need the money or do they like the socialization? Which led me down a road to really commission a researcher to answer two questions. How's the financial industry helping women be financially successful? And are women on a good road to be prepared for their retirement? And it came back no and no for the most part.
Mm.
And so I went and took that data and talked to lots and lots of women through focus groups. And for the most part, they said to me, Heidi, my financial professional doesn't even look at me. I often feel like prey. I was never taught about money, and I'm not quite sure what to do.
Well, everything you just shared deeply resonates with me as a woman and as somebody who's been through divorce and someone who hasn't been taught how to handle finances and has been nervous about finding a financial advisor because who can you trust? How do you know if you
Right.
can trust them? And when I'm in my 50s now, when at a certain point, you get nervous. Like, what
Yeah.
happens if something happens and then I'm too old? Like, right now, I feel like I can pick myself up if I needed to, but 10 years from now, it's going to be a whole different ball game, right? And then adding on
Right.
another 10 years. So, why is it so important for women to step into their financial power now more than ever?
Well, first of all, the population's aging. So think about that baby boomer, huge demographic.
Mhm.
That shows that 12,000 people every day are turning 65 for the next 7 years. So think about that big swell of retiring and aging population. And what happens first, typically, stats will tell you that men die first. So we're going to see a lot of women who are widowed, right? And for some women, that's the first time they're stepping into their financial power and having to take charge of their own finances, where before, oftentimes women will say, my husband takes care of that. So that's kind of a shocking time to have to manage your finances. Also, the great divorce, women and men in their 50s and 60s are getting divorced at 3 times the rate now.
Wow.
I'm in that range as well. I was in my 50s when I went through my divorce. And caretaking. Okay, so the population's aging. which means we're going to see a lot of older, elderly people, our parents, maybe our siblings, that are going to need some oversight and care. And so when you're talking about caregiving, you're talking about a woman's issue and you're talking about a financial issue in lots of different ways. So that's going to be another responsibility that will fall on women as well and will impact them financially. So there's a lot changing over these years with the demographics, and it's going to land on women. The other thing, the other side of the coin, if you will, is that women will be coming into the largest transference of wealth in history, upwards of $30 trillion. So we really need to know how to manage any money coming our way and how we can leverage it and use it in the best possible way.
Yeah, you said something and it reminded me of a friend of mine. Her mother is still alive and she's in her 90s now. And
Mm-hmm.
her husband died, I'm gonna say over 10 years because time flies, right? You don't realize how
Yeah,
much time goes by. Could even be more than that, but I'm gonna guess around 10 years. Um, that he's passed and she's been on her own. So, and
yeah.
she's well into her 90s. So everything you say is like, yeah, absolutely. And you just hear of people living longer and longer and longer now with the technology and the advancements we have. And so what mindset shifts, or let's talk about this first. Let's talk about challenges. What are some of the biggest financial challenges women have today and are facing today, and how can they overcome them?
So many people don't think about this, but just being a woman is more expensive. So it
Very
is.
true.
And people
Very
laugh
true.
about that, but it's true. So when I teach my course, I'll say to some of the gentlemen, what do you pay for a haircut? And they'll be like, well, I pay like 35 or $50. Well, women, 100 bucks, 150 is not out of the question, right? That's just a haircut. Think about, and some gentlemen would say, I asked my wife, I was shocked. She pays $350 to get her hair cut and colored and all of that. Just very normal. It's so expensive. And think about the nails and think about, all the other upkeep, and think about something called the pink tax. So just buying products that are for women are more expensive. For instance, and I did this, if you look at Bic disposable razors for women that are pink and Bic disposable razors for men that are blue, they're the same razor. The pink ones are more expensive. And that's an example of the pink tax. And let me give you another example. If you go to a dry cleaner, and I've done this as well, I've gotten a cotton blouse dry cleaned, more expensive than my husband's. They charge you more for women's dry cleaning for simple shirts than for men.
Wow, I
And
had no
I've
idea.
investigated it, and they say, well, so often men use dry cleaning, so we have these men molds that we use. It's very easy, but if it's for women, we have to hand iron it. I don't know if that's true or not, but they always charge more for women.
Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, it's funny because when I've had a friend that's like, I was getting ready for a date one time and she was telling somebody she knows, she's like, yeah, my girlfriend went on a date. What do you think it cost her to just to get ready to get, for the date? Like people don't realize we spend like way more money than men do. Granted, they're most of the time they're paying for the date. At least we hope so. That's a different conversation. But
Yeah.
it's, men need to know, like women, how much did it cost them just to get ready for that date? Whether they're doing their hair, they're getting their nails done, they're doing their makeup, right? They're maybe bought a new outfit if they were feeling good about it, or shoes or something like that. So yeah, I agree. And I had no idea that there was a pink tax. Like that
Oh,
is,
yeah.
now I'm going to be so much more aware and looking at this. And I've heard women buy men razors now that you're talking about it because it is cheaper. And I never
Yeah.
realized it because, what if it's the same razor, then what does it matter, right?
Well, and it's all over. It sneaks in as children. If you look at pink bikes versus blue bikes, the little girls' bikes are more expensive. I mean, you really have to study it and really take a look at what are the cost and compare of the same product for men and versus women. You know, um, all sorts of them in terms of products for hair shampoo and all of that. I mean, shampoo you buy it at the salon, 35 bucks for shampoo, and that's just the shampoo, not the conditioner. So people will say, well, you don't have to spend all that money, but we do, right? Society puts a lot of pressure on women to
Mhm.
keep up, right? So
Yeah.
it costs a lot more money just to live as a woman.
Wow. Wow. So what mindset shifts, Dr. Barb, do women need to make to build wealth and financial confidence? Because I mean, it is scary. Being a single woman myself, I can tell you, I don't always have confidence in the decisions I make, and I get nervous about them.
Yeah, I can understand that. And it starts way, way back, like our money mindset. Where does that come from? It comes from all the messages that we received as small girls from our families, our communities, our religion, advertisement, and it never stops. It never stops. All the messages at us, you should stop drinking your coffee, men should invest, women should save, men make better financial decisions, women should give it to the man. And we really need to unpack what are the money messages? What are the knee-jerk reactions we make when we're thinking about money? Because it all stems from our upbringing. Like, does it make it nervous? Does it make us nervous? Do we feel confident? Do we not feel confident? Do we feel like we can ask questions? Are we afraid? I mean, there's so much emotion around money. So the first thing is to really kind of unpack and learn, if you will. There's tons of books, there's podcasts. We even have it on our own podcast. Like, how do you unpack and really learn about your own money mindset?
Mhm.
Is the first thing. The second thing is we need to ask for more. So women oftentimes won't negotiate their pay. They'll take what is given to us. And oftentimes it sets us back hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. The third thing is we give away a lot of our money. We often are thinking about our children, our grandchildren, somebody in need who needs something before we're thinking about our own retirement. So we always say, you come first when it comes for planning for your retirement, because as you were saying, that example of your friend's mom who's in her 90s, it's very expensive to age alone. It's very expensive because you need help. You have other medications. You need to go to various doctors. Where are you going to live? All of those living expenses are really expensive as you age alone. So you need to plan now to be on a regular investment savings plan so that you know what your future goals are and how you want to meet them.
Yeah, what you said is true. We always think about everybody else before we think about ourselves. We might buy some products and splurge a little there, here and there, but when it comes to really spending our money, it mostly goes to other people. And for
Mhm.
me, a good example is I'm in the process of selling my home, and it's grown in value since the divorce, which is great. But my plan was I really wanted to have this nest egg for my kids. This is something I really wanted to pass to them. And what I'm hearing from you, and I agree, is I really need to plan for me first, and I can always help them down the road in other ways.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put yourself first. You never know what's going to happen. God forbid something happens and you need that money, you're not going to ask it back from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very true. Very true. So, what are some of the common mistakes that women are making when it comes to managing money in their businesses, and how can they avoid those mistakes?
There's a lot of fear and emotion around money, whether it's for your business or whether it's for personal.
Mhm.
I say the number one thing is they're not working with good financial professionals because they're afraid to pay for it. They're afraid to expose their mistakes. They're afraid to have somebody take a look. You're getting really financially naked with someone, right? They're going to see your credit, your debt, how much you make, and you're in a very vulnerable situation. So you really want to find somebody that you trust, that you've built a relationship with, and that you can kind of tiptoe into these conversations and then finally say, look, this is my situation, and be confident in the person you're working with so they can say, okay, no judgment here. What is it that you want to do with your money, with your business, with your personal funds, with money for your children? What are your goals? Let's set out and see where you are today. What's your situation? Where is it that you want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years? And let's make a plan for that and set you on a rinse and repeat, that you have a consistent and repeatable plan. You know where you're going. You know what you want to do. You have some spending money for yourself as well. But so many people, so many women are afraid to step into that conversation. And the more you wait, time is money, like you're saying, and you can't make it up.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't get our time back, right?
Mm-mm.
So, Dr. Barb, what does purse strings do for someone? Well, if somebody's listening and going, okay, I know I need help, what would you provide for them, or how could you help them?
Sure. So at Purse Strings, our whole mission for even creating this work, this business, is because we want to give, as an adult educator, I don't sell any financial products or services. I want to make sure women have good financial tools, resources, information, knowledge, skill right at their fingertips. And I purposely give it to women for free, right? Because of all those reasons, they're behind anyway. So I want them to have those resources at their fingertips. They can find guides online. They can listen to our podcast, Women in Money, the shit we don't talk about. We just dole out education there all the time. We're on all the social media. We have a newsletter. I want women, wherever they are on their financial journey, whether they're getting married or divorced, getting a windfall, losing a job, getting an inheritance, whatever it might be, come and learn what you need to know. And then when you're ready to make a decision or you need someone in your financial team, leverage our directory of vetted financial professionals who focus on women. They're financial planners, they're advisors, they're attorneys, they're mediators, P&C agents, anyone who touches a financial transaction. We're curating and continue to curate this directory. We vet them, so we ensure that they are professionals who are going to understand where you're at, lead with education, not just push a sale on you, and be in the industry for a while so they'll be part of your financial team.
Mm, I love this so much. So thank you for providing this service because I know so many women personally who could use this for sure and this support.
Yeah.
And it, like you said, it is very vulnerable, especially if you feel like you're failing or you made
Right.
mistakes along the way and now you're embarrassed about them. It's going to be, we just keep rinsing and repeating the mistakes because we're too afraid to sit down with somebody and show that we've made these mistakes and we don't want to feel dumb, right? In the
Right.
process. So I really appreciate that you have this opportunity and option available for people, women out there. So can we switch gears a little bit and talk about business and growth? The growth that you've had and any, the ups and downs that you've seen in your growth, because we all have them, right?
Yeah.
As we're
Yeah.
growing a business, it's not always candy like sugar plums and and cupcakes or what do we want to call it for or gold at the end of the rainbow, right? For today,
Yeah.
there's some tough times that we have to navigate. So what are some of the challenges that you faced in growing purse strings and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So first of all, pitching to VCs, right? So VC funding, for me, it's just a big waste of time. 3% of VC funding, less than 3% go to women-owned businesses.
Wow.
Less than half of that go to African American women-owned businesses. And I just felt like that's a man's game that I don't have time and energy for. So I really had to bootstrap it. And because of that, of course, we haven't grown as fast as we wanted to because I was still doing my consulting business and building out purse strings. So I was really doing both businesses at the same time to earn more money, to, do more with purse strings. So it's taken a longer time to grow. But the good part about that was, it was easier to learn, try, pivot, learn, try, pivot, and really ensure that what we're getting was secure and right. For instance, we started as small groups in women's living rooms, right? So that would be really hard to grow, especially once the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Everything was online. So we went online and we're ready to go right at the pandemic, which really made us much more efficient. And we have a model that we just created based on what women wanted. It wasn't a franchise, like a tested model that was already out there and everything was handed to us. We had to create everything from scratch. It's work that we love. It's work that we love to do. So our heart and our passion is in it, but it gave us a time to really build and mold and make a really, really solid foundation. And now we're at a place where we're just ready to, catapult.
Ah, so nice. Well, thank you for sharing that. What and I've had to do the same in my business too, bootstrap it. Like and
Yeah,
it's sometimes we got to do what we got to do, right?
right.
To create what we want to create and make the impact we want to make. So can you share like how do women find you or how are you putting your message out there as far as your marketing and visibility goes? Because we can't help people unless we're putting ourselves out there to be seen and stand
Absolutely.
out. So how are you doing that with purse strings?
So, well, lots of different strategies on that, right? So on all the social media channels, Our podcast has done really, really well because, people who love to learn to love podcasts, we've even doubled down and we're doing one a week. So that's a great way to get experts in and really get the word out to people. And we're really educating. We're giving them nuggets of information they can use and stick in their pocket and talk to their friends about. So that's been fantastic. We have a newsletter that goes out every week, and it's a little bit about who we are, what we're doing, thought for the day, or what's happening in the world that we comment on. But then we're talking about blogs that our financial professionals have written. We push those out. Ask an expert question. We push those out. So education is always being pushed out. And then also every Thursday we have a money talk. So one topic money talks with an expert from 11 to 11:30. So we use all the social media platforms. We do a little bit of paid advertising as well. And we're really getting the word out that way. Plus, we're on other people's podcasts, which are fantastic ways of getting the information out. I was just at a financial organization in Iowa. They wanted to learn more about what do financial professionals need to know that women want, talking to them about that. So really getting out on a lot of podcasts as well has been so helpful.
Yeah, I agree with you with podcasting. We've doubled down on it as well. This is our second podcast. We launched this one in January. Our other one is really a passion project for women. So I would love to have you on there if you'd like.
Sure.
I think it'd be fantastic because it's called Be She, Be Seen, Be Heard, Be Empowered. So I
Love
think
it.
this is perfect for you to share with our audience over there as well, what you do and how you can help them. But I agree with you on the doubling down on the podcast. We launched this podcast actually drops three times a week. So we're trying to get it out there because we're so grateful that the second podcast we've had a lot of yeses. So we want to make sure we're trying to get our guests on as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But again, podcasting is, in my opinion, like you shared, being on the social media platforms is important. It's there,
Right.
it's free, you got to do it. But it's a little bit of a red ocean I
Mhm.
feel, especially if you're just launching, you need to be there. But podcasting is a way to be getting on stages without having to leave your home, especially if
Right.
you're like with me with kids. I can't be traveling right now. And it's guesting is great because if you don't want to launch it yourself, you can get on other people's podcasts. You get to practice your messaging. You're leveraging their audience. You're seeing it
Right.
growing your authority because you're on their platform. They wouldn't have you on if you didn't know what you were doing or talking about.
Right. Right.
So I completely agree with you, and I love that you have one, and I can't wait to check it out myself.
Good.
So what if we could if a leprechaun can come over to you right now with a magic wand and say poof to get you on the other side of the rainbow and take away one issue that you're having in your business or challenge that you're facing right now, what would that be and why?
Well, there's so much noise out there. And what we're trying to do is, how do you get through that noise? So it's really around um, sales and marketing, right? Getting the message out. If we had unlimited funds to be on billboards, to be on radios, to be on talk shows, to be on all those places to get the word out, to do more advertising, that would be fantastic. I think, poof, that would be it, because our goal is to be the household name for women when they have a financial question or concern. It would be just go to Purse Strings and they have everything that you need.
Oh, good. So good. Thank you. I have two last questions for you. And my one last question would be, if we could revisit, if we could bring you back in a year and have another conversation, what would success look like for you, Dr. Barb, and Purse Strings in 2025?
Um, it would be that, anytime people meet me, they say, I know purse strings. I've heard of purse strings. Sometimes I get that when I talk to people, they're like, yes, I've heard of you. And I'm like, it's working.
Exciting. Yeah.
But I want that to be, across the United States.
Yeah, I love that. And we want to see that happen. So for those of you
Yeah,
listening now, make sure that you're sharing this episode, whether you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, leave a note for Dr. Barb below. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, please leave a 5-star review and let Dr. Barb know you're listening to her, and leave us a comment because this is how we get to spread the word and
right,
share the wisdom and expertise of Dr. Barb and Purse Strings, and allowing more women to be supported in their financial independence and growth and confidence, which is really important. It starts with growing that. Dr. Barb, if you could have one piece of advice, financial advice for women, to every woman who's listening or every person that's listening right now, what would it be?
It would be to know your numbers. So don't be afraid to open that checkbook, see what your balance is, open those savings accounts, see what your balance is, open those credit card statements, see what your debt is, open that mortgage payment, see how much more you own on your house, what's that interest rate, what are you paying every month, what are you paying for auto insurance. You really knowing your numbers. We have a great little tool right on our front page of our website called Where's My Money Going? It just what's everything that's coming in, what's everything that's going out every month, and really knowing your cash flow and your numbers. That's the best place to start. People shy away from that. They're afraid to open those envelopes. But if you don't have that data, then you can't make good financial decisions.
Mm.
So if it's ripping off the Band-Aid, rip it off. If it's calling a financial professional to help you work through things, or financial coach, whatever you need, hire them. Don't think it's too expensive. They're going to save you money by really giving you expert advice and helping you make good financial decisions.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. And I think that's perfect. And where your focus goes, grows, right? So if
Right.
you're focused on your money, it's going to grow as long as you're paying
Yeah.
attention to it. Even if your bank account is at a negative and you're like, I don't want to look at that.
Right.
I've been being taught with as far as like growing wealth, and you've got the manifestation side of things, but you need to take action. Manifestation
Right.
doesn't happen by just hoping. Like it comes
Right.
with being positive, doing the things to create that energy, but also focusing on where you're at and where you want to be and
Right.
stepping into that. So you've got to know, even if your bank account's not negative, look at it, see what's going on, check where you've got, where can you cut? What are some things subscriptions that you have that you forgot about that are coming out of your account every month?
Right. Right.
Those are super important. And there's something that you said that I wanted to touch on, which is the negative account, and the because I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to, those are called money moves, is what I've learned. And you should be making money moves every day. And those could be, that
Yeah.
is knowing your numbers, taking a
Right.
look at your bank account, see what's going on in there. Has something gone through that wasn't supposed to go through that you weren't alerted to?
Right.
So that those things are really, really important. So thank you so much, Dr. Barb. How can people connect with you and reach out to you?
Our website is purstrings.co. It's not .com, it's .co. We're also purstrings.co on all of our social media, and I'm at barb@purstrings.co. You can reach out to me anytime.
Amazing. So reach out to Dr. Barb because she's amazing, and she wants to help you, and very easy to talk to. Reach out to her team. She's vetted all of these people that can support you, so you have a place that you can trust. So go to purstrings.co. Also connect with Dr. Barb on social media. We'll have all the links in the show notes here, as well as you can read her bio and learn more about her there as well. So Dr. Barb, thank you so much for your time here today. It's been such a pleasure. Is there anything that you want to share that I didn't ask you or touch on today?
I think you pretty much nailed it, but I just can't say enough about, the best time to get started was yesterday. And if you
Yeah.
didn't start yesterday, then the best time to get started is today.
Yes. So get started. No guilt for where you've been or
Yeah.
where you are. No shame in your game. Like everybody's going through stuff, right? And
Right.
where you've been is where it's getting you to where you're going, but you
You
need to
got
have
it.
a plan, and you need to have eyes on where you're at now, and then a support team or a person that can help you to get where you want to go with no judgment.
You got
So
it.
if again, please leave us reviews, please subscribe, please share this episode to your friends. If you have people that could possibly use it, the information and in purse strings, please share this with your friends, your family members, and out there, so we can help more people. We can help Dr. Barb help more women and more people with financial security and financial confidence. If you have a business and you're listening right now and you're feeling like you're not getting that visibility that you want, you're kind of like doing the things, but you're feeling like nothing's you're not getting traction, then go grab our free Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint and grab it. It's free. It's yours. Take it and run with it. Again, thank you, Dr. Barr, for being here. So grateful for your time.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you for listening to Dr. Barb and I today, or watching us on YouTube, and we will see you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlight.